The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Happy Friday. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world to take back control of our personal choices as well as our health and our freedoms. I'm Nico Haan.
And I'm Paige Clarke.
And it's a beautiful day here in downtown Clearwater, 81 degrees. Paige going down to 67 tonight.
Oh, that's nice. We'll have a little touch of fall. And,
Yeah.
folks, please subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter. People just rave. We get a lot of feedback. It's a great electronic newsletter that has great links that take you just further down the rabbit hole and stuff we talk about here.
Yeah, that's for sure. And also pick up some Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. Just talked to a buddy of mine up in New York, Frank, and he called me about some advice on what should I take, as far as supplements and things like that. And I gave him a little bit of a story of what Primal Edge was, but, I also told him how important it was to have those ingredients that actually deliver this stuff to the cells. And without that, you're just kind of what you're doing. You're just throwing it away. You're throwing away the money. And you can see it actually in, when you go to the bathroom, you can actually see the coloration in your urine.
Well, I tell you, it's all about, if we can't heal the cell, we can't be well. And we've got to get our nutrition into the cell.
Yep.
So that was a lot of our motivation for why we worked with premier researchers that's backed by great evidence to formulate the Primal Edge for all of you. And you that watch the show are very lucky. If you're part of the Tiger's Den, you get to use Tiger's dollars.
Yeah,
I mean, our fearless leader, Tom, has made it so that you can use Tiger dollars to stay healthy and well.
And really, it's only $89 a month if you do it on a monthly basis, and that's everything. I remember I used to spend $300 on vitamins.
Well, the other thing about it is that it's about the delivery system.
Yeah. And certainly it includes everything in there. Not just the vitamins and minerals, but also you're cleaning out your system at the same time.
Mm-hmm. It's a multi-nutrient, and it's it has what we call nature's miracle molecules, the fulvic acids,
Right.
which are they know they're very intelligent molecules. They know how to change compounds into beneficial compounds in your body, and then they recognize compounds that are not beneficial, and they chelate. So they chelate means to claw or to hold on to and to remove.
Right.
So it helps escort good nutrition in while it cleaves out the things that we need to get rid of.
That just sounds so good.
Hey, what do I tell you it's all about?
That's right.
We have too much of what we don't need. We don't have enough of what we do need, and then there's stress interfering.
Yeah. So, Frank, I'm hoping you're subscribing to that. We're taking phone calls, folks. It's the number here is 877-927-6648. I want to start off with I've gotten a few emails here and there. One I really particularly wanted to talk about. It says, "Hi, Nico." This is from Les. Les says, "Hi, Nico. I recently lifted something too heavy and pulled a muscle in my back. I am 67, male, 6'2", 230 pounds, and have through my life had infrequent lower back pain, and that was severe enough to put me in a chair for a few days. It's been 6 or 7 years since I did this last, did the usual, a cold pack, then heating pads and so on. I was not getting any better after 3 or 4 days when a neighbor recommended this extract, which is called Boswellia. Is that how you pronounce it?
Boswellia. Mm-hmm.
Boswellia. And it's a natural supplement, herbal supplement that he had great success with. I took four capsules of 400 milligrams.
400 milligrams.
Milligrams, excuse me. Over the next 36 hours, I was completely better within 2 days. My back went from spasms to feeling like a new man in just a few days. And feeling like a new man is just worth it right there.
So he says he's really amazed. And, this is just a perfect example, Nico, of what we are sharing here. Mother Nature is amazing and produces substances that work. Boswellia is an Indian herb that's been around in Ayurveda, which is ancient medicine, and has been used as an anti-inflammatory and pain reliever for years. Has a lot of clinical evidence behind it that it is more effective than the COX-2 inhibitors. So you want to wonder why a lot of people, are actually taking these dangerous pain reliever products that interfere with other enzyme reactions when we have nature's improvement. Incidentally, and I have a number of things. I think we probably have a little bit of Boswellia in the Primal Edge as well as part of the food, as far as our joint health part. But what I want you to understand is that Boswellia is also, the herb is it's part of a tree that we also get the family of aromatherapy called frankincense. And
so this is in the same family?
Well, frankincense comes from the Boswellia tree too. It's a resin. And it's a very successfully applied topically. As we know that topical application, we like to say, don't put anything on your skin that you wouldn't eat. So just as you would eat the herb of Boswellia, you would also use the essential oil of frankincense. So we make a lot of blends for people that they can apply to their body. It's very pleasant, and along with all the other powerful gene expression, the positive influence on gene expression that we get from live source foods and from essential oils is magnificent. It's really where I study and what I try and help people do.
This Boswellia also helps joints. So the inflammation gone from the joint naturally helps the joints. Helps killing germs, even boosts your brain. It helps killing germs, reducing inflammation. They're using it in a lot of different things too. It's amazing.
I have a number of professional blends that I use for people that are experiencing that want to help their pain go away. Again, we have to be very careful not to say that natural things, just like the cherry growers and the walnut growers, for claiming that they lowered inflammation, they were told they had to prove that they were a drug. So we just say the body does the work, but these are substances that help the body remember what to do.
Well, and that makes sense too. And there's a lot of different anti-inflammatories in the herbs and the saps of trees and bark of trees and roots of trees, and some work for some people and some don't. So you kind of have to experiment around. So what I would say to people, if you have something like this and it does happen and it doesn't quite meet your needs, try something else.
Exactly. I'm a big fan of the moringa tree.
Yes.
And I'm actually recommending a wonderful moringa product because I've done the research on it, and it has 36 different anti-inflammatories in it. It's a green drink, and you're getting 56 antioxidants at the same time and all your amino acids. So if anyone's interested, you can contact me about that. I like things that are simple, especially for the people that I can't see. I can help them kind of get steered in that direction.
And if you want to get in touch with Paige, you can get her at Paige@TFNN.com. Of course, Nico at TFNN.com too.
And I congratulate you, Les, for being open to trying nature's cure, and not surprised to hear that you had such a great result, and we hope that will continue for you.
And Tom wrote me a little thing. He says, "Hi, Nico, hope you're doing well.
Hi, Tom.
Is it okay to use regular coconut oil, or is it better to use certified organic?" Well, naturally certified organic, but I would also stress that we want extra virgin, which means that you're getting the first pressing of the product, and that means, the later pressings, it's harder to get this oils out of these plants. So they start using chemicals and expellers and things like that to help the process along to get a little bit more out of it. But the extra virgin, the reason that's there, that's the first pressing. No chemicals are used. If it says cold pressed, then that's normally what I look for.
And I agree with you. And the other thing I want to caution people is, some people say, I just don't like the flavor of coconut. I like it. But there is a product called expeller pressed coconut oil that if you open the jar, it does not even smell like coconut oil. Some people like to use that for cooking. I do believe that does not have, doesn't have the nutritional, might have had some of the nutritional benefits degraded because of the expeller pressing. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So as Nico said, the organic certified organic is always.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good companies out there, and you pay a little bit more, but I think it's worth it. You maybe don't use as much if you want to. We always kind of overuse these things. I certainly,
I get one that's from a low heat that has a very special process that ensures no water and no mold, and it's centrifugally processed. It's very, very
Is that
good.
Tropical Traditions? Is that?
No.
No, that's another company.
No, it's a private source, yeah.
Anyway, I was reading this article by How Antibiotics Wreak Havoc on Your Gut by Amy Myers today. And, antibiotics work by blocking the processes in bacteria.
Well, the word is antibiotic means
Against?
anti-life.
Anti-life. So I guess that says it all right there. Do I need to say any more? Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so, almost if you look at the ideology of the words, you can almost figure out, like, probiotics are pro-life.
Yeah. The general consensus is, of course, it can help your body. It's kind of like doing radiation treatments. You're going to kill that thing, but you're also weakening yourself. At the end, they just hope that you recover, that you're strong enough.
Antibiotics don't discern. They just go after everything.
They just go after everything. So they really create a big imbalance, I would say, in your digestive process. And, think about it. We need the food to help us repair, help us get better, helping taking the bad stuff out. And here now we're putting a product in our gut that does everything in its power to do away with all those processes.
Yeah, that's the issue. And now, then, when we say the word antibiotics, we should say pharmaceutical antibiotics. They don't discern. Now, there are natural antibiotics that, believe it or not, do have this natural sense of recognizing friend from foe. There are what I consider to be natural antibiotics that do certain things by neutering the replication, the DNA replication of the bad guys. Now, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That's the olive leaf extract.
Yeah.
It neuters the reproduction, so it kind of forces them to burn out.
Yeah. We have Les who wrote me on the line.
That we were just speaking
So
with.
let's get him on the line. Les, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, how you doing?
Happy Friday, you guys.
Oh, nice to hear from you, Les.
Yeah, really. That was a nice note explaining what went wrong.
We love hearing good results.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting because I've subscribed to your newsletter since the beginning, and I try to watch your show every Friday if I have the time available.
Yeah.
And as soon as this happened to me, I thought, I would almost be sure that you guys know all about this. And one of my reasons for calling was if there's any negative aspects of taking it, like if some people evidently take it like daily, and I just basically took 4 or 5 capsules, and it took care of my pain, and I haven't taken it since. So, you kind of started to answer that with the fact that it's in your Primal Edge as an ingredient. So I was kind of wondering if taking the capsules would be something that would be a good thing to do.
Well, if you're taking the Primal Edge, you've got the solution right there. You've got the dosage that you need for regular things. But if you come up with a problem like you have,
Need a little extra boost.
Then you do the extra. You want to hang on for the break?
Oh, you bet.
Okay,
we'll be right back.
Okay, folks, the number here is 877-927-6648. Give us a call and pick up some Primal Edge and take a look at my newsletter, and we'll see you after the break. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back to the show, folks. We have Lester from Boise, Idaho on the line. Lester, you still there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, cool. So,
Les, let me just ask you a quick question. You got a great result from using these anti-inflammatories, and one of the things that Nico and I were talking about is, the root cause of chronic disease is unaddressed inflammation, and unfortunately for a lot of people, inflammation is a silent killer. There's the inflammation that causes us pain, and then there's the inflammation we're not aware of.
Right.
And a lot of these natural anti-inflammatories, reasons I'm very attracted to them, is, like Boswellia, like my moringa that I have, is that we really need to quell the fires in our body, right?
I think so. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Are you still there, Len?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can, yeah.
So what we were kind of saying is that we have, when we have an acute problem, it hurts right away, and it's telling us there's a warning sign. But there is not a warning sign for eating inflammatory foods. And these are the things that, over a lifetime, you start noticing at 45, 50 years old that things are not the way they used to be. When we should be at 60, 70, 80 years old, not even having that problem then.
Right.
So.
Well, a little bit of background. I've a couple of years ago, I really got heavy, and I started really taking some of your knowledge to heart, and cut out all the grains in my diet, cut out any baked products, bread, any of the potato chips, all the other stuff.
All the processed foods, basically.
All the processed inflammatory foods.
Yeah, and it was just amazing because I dropped over 60 pounds in about 7 months, and my doctor couldn't believe it, because I went in and all my cholesterol values were perfect, and my blood pressure dropped, and so yeah, I'm a believer.
Yeah, that's
good.
great.
And even more important than your cholesterol numbers are your triglycerides. So I bet you those really improve, because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Those drop like crazy when you get up these inflammatory foods. So it sounds like you're doing everything right, and you're subscribing to our newsletter, so you're getting the latest. We spend hours, both of us, reading and shuffling through stuff to find news that you can use, stuff that we use for our own family and for both of us for our clients. So when you subscribe to the newsletter, you're staying on point, you're staying current with us, and we really appreciate it.
And the nice thing, too, is that you did it by not going on a diet, but just changing your diet.
Yeah, it was amazing. I didn't really have to,
no count calories.
Starve myself.
Right.
It just kind of, the weight just kept dropping. And so, in my cardiologist, I told him I was on a modified paleo diet. And he was all over it. He says, he says that's fantastic. So, just quickly, I just want to thank you guys, because you've really made a difference in my life. I appreciate it very much.
Well, just hearing that
you make a difference in our life, just being out there and knowing that we're able to be with like-minded people that want to live longer, live stronger, live healthier.
So thanks a lot, Lester. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Stay in touch.
So in the chat room, Jim was asking, can you tell us what these inflammatory foods are and what do you eat instead? Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
The first thing that we talk about always is foods that are processed. And I think last week I mentioned that the first processed food, of course, was the grain-based foods, which were the breads and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they were used. The great motivator for having these products is when you think about a community that is trying to take over other communities, going into war, fresh food you can't carry.
Right.
It's going to go bad the next day. And in conditions of war, there's nothing you can eat. So
that's how fermentation came about.
Yeah, exactly. So carrying these products allowed you to wage war on other people. Also, these things are also big, what can I say, they're almost like addictive in a sense. So
they have their own opiates in them. And they aren't literally just addictive because you accidentally eat a pancake when you smell it because it smells good.
Right.
There's literally compounds or opiates in grains and processed foods, either naturally, inherently, but also by way of the food manufacturers who work hard to increase profit margin by increasing your desire for something.
And the other question was, does that include cereals? And cereals is the #1 bad boy right there.
Yeah, I mean,
that changed everything in the 50s, and I often talk about that.
Yeah, when Mama started buying a box instead of cooking in the kitchen, then we started getting fat. And remember what happened? Nico and I have talked about it, what farmers do when they need to fatten up a pig before they take them to slaughter. They feed them a diet of skim milk and cereal. What are we feeding ourselves in America
Scary,
today?
I'll tell you
How
that.
does America live today? You know what? Stay tuned. We might have a couple other tips for you on a couple inflammatory foods because I just found something through our news food. Yeah, we didn't finish that, so we're going to
So we'll talk
pick it
about
up.
what we eat instead, too, of course.
See you after the break.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8888 8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back. We're living a primal lifestyle. And, we were just talking in the chat room. One of our listeners, we're talking about processed, packaged, boxed, and bagged food. We're talking about inflammatory foods. What are the inflammatory foods? And someone made a comment, not military MREs. Now, that is the epitome of a long-term storage processed food. And, it makes me very sad, Nico, because I take a look at our veterans. We just had Veterans Day. Mm-hmm. And we take a look at our veterans that have a high percentage of them suffering not only from inflammation due to stressful, emotional, post-traumatic stress disorder. Remember, inflammation is caused from emotional issues as well. But they are also heavily vaccinated with, immune compromising issues, and they're eating a lot of these processed long-term storage foods. So, yeah, that's definitely
and that's
an
in the field. But even
food.
if you go to like Iraq or wherever these men and Navy stations, Afghanistan, and you go to their quarters. Now you want to go out to eat. They have a nice compound of the Kentucky Fried Chicken and the Taco
they've
Bell.
taken it all over there to them.
Yeah, so we used to make this stuff, and probably was a lot better when people were actually making the meals out in the field. I would think.
Think about
it's probably
airplane
not the
food,
best.
too.
Yeah, airplane food. So there's a lot of things that are going wrong in our food. The question is now, what do we eat instead?
Okay, so let's just finish those
Okay.
key things that we,
All right.
because we were hitting it good. You know, grains and processed and packaged long-term storage foods. It's kind of the old triple G.
Just in a
If you're-
box or a can.
Yeah. If your great-great-grandmother wasn't eating it and it wasn't around, it probably isn't going to be good for you. Processed sugars alone. Keep in mind, eating a piece of processed bread is like taking 6 tablespoons of sugar and putting it in your mouth. That's the impact it has on your sugar in your blood. You know, you've got some sugars like molasses and some of these natural sweeteners, but these artificial sweeteners, they are inflammatory. You know?
Okay, so when we talk about canned foods, we're not talking about like if you're jarring or canning things yourself or somebody's doing it for you in a great way of foods that are, you know, grown around you, because that's very important too. We were talking during the break, well, so for some people, a banana is too much sugar.
Yeah, tropical fruits. Well, you know, for so many people, because we have such an issue of metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance, most people really are not well suited to eat sweet tropical fruits of any large quantity.
because
Very
they're
rare.
already bombarded with the sugar from all the processed foods.
Yeah, they're having grains and so forth. You know, unless you are sweating like a bullet every day, you know, a banana is going to be a tough food for you, especially if you want to maintain your weight and your insulin sensitivity. So,
And of course, not many people live near where bananas are locally grown. We happen to be in Florida where that happens, but when I lived in Michigan or in Canada, there were no bananas up there. They were shipped in.
Yeah, we try to look at what's more seasonal. And then I finally want to finish before we go into
go
some
ahead.
tips to do it. You know, I wanted to talk a little bit about another inflammatory food group, which is what we call the nightshades. And for whatever reason, we want to look for better sources of these, but some of the peppers, and they're, you know, the spicy peppers and the green
foods,
peppers,
really.
the vine foods, exactly, the eggplant, some, you know, the potatoes. In some of these families of foods, for some people, these create an inflammatory response. They create, you know, a lot of people that are having joint back pain, when we're working with people, we'll have them do the elimination diet. You know, what's to diagnose? Let's eliminate potential offenders and work backwards from there.
Tomatoes are a big offender for many people, and they don't know it.
And, you know, actually, though, you know, super healthy food, loaded with lycopene, if done properly, and actually much more bioavailable if they're cooked. But we do have to, you know, we have to look at some of these. So those are the potentially inflammatory foods. If it's got, you know, if it's a concoction, if it's a packaged processed food, you know, you can be suspect of it. So let's talk about what we
Well,
can
also,
eat.
this brings to mind, because we're just talking about the first layer, eliminating processed foods. So that's good.
And
then,
GMO foods.
And GMO foods, of course. If you're adding stuff that's not natural in there, we want it. Then the next step is, if you're going to eat plants, then it's organic. And then if you're going to eat animals, you have to be really knowledgeable about how these animals are being treated, and more importantly, how about
How they're being fed.
how they're being fed.
So let's talk
Yes.
about that. So most people know that when you're primal or paleo, we look at animal-based proteins and fats as a healthy choice if you're getting them from a healthy choice. Certainly, confined animal feeding operations is not a healthy choice. Right. These are where animals are living in inhumane conditions. They're diseased, they're receiving antibiotics, they're receiving foods that they don't eat. We like to say, if you are going to use animal foods in your healthy diet, then find animals that are raised humanely and are eating what their natural diet is. Fish eating soybean is not natural. The fish just don't have an opportunity to go find some soybeans to eat.
We don't find too many fishermen out there throwing soybeans to try to catch that snook or the bass.
Well, in their natural environment, they're not looking in the ocean for soybeans.
Because these animals are trapped by nets, and so they're forced to eat whatever they give them.
And the same with our cows. Our cows were never meant, you know, these sweet animals were meant to be foragers and graze, and they've got a digestive system that's designed to get nutrition out of rapidly growing grass. And when you get them in a combined feeding operation, they're not making the kind of nutrients in their meat or in their dairy that they are designed to do from the rapidly growing grass if they're eating corn and soy. That's just, a cow would not naturally go, into a soy field or a...
No, they wouldn't do it at all. They're they want rapidly growing grass,
That's
and they want the new stuff that's growing, the first few inches of it. Just think about it. Think about human beings confined in a space, and we throw bread at them, and that's the only thing they eat. You could say, well, these human beings do fine on bread. They're surviving. Look, they look happy.
Right. Exactly.
Because the only way you see them. This is a tragedy. So what do we start with?
We start with vegetables and animal foods that are growing in their natural environment.
And not processed, the minimum process. So in the morning, I like a little piece of sausage, little processed, but not too bad.
Yeah, that's probably not the best example, but...
That's what I do. So it's not a bad process because I know who's making that sausage.
Yep, and that's the key point.
Exactly.
You are, when you buy your food, we all need to start being conscious of where we're sourcing it. And when we all start doing that, the sources are going to improve.
Yeah.
And so you are very good about that.
Well, that's my passion, and I see it in myself how it's working.
But some people think when they hear you say sausage, that means to go to Denny's every morning and have Denny's sausage.
Not at all.
So
no,
Denny's
this is the best sausage I can find from a great sausage place in northern Florida.
From little pigs that are doing their little snorting and they're going down to
they're finding their own food.
They're finding their own little truffles and little things. Right.
So, and then I add a couple of great eggs, the real nice organic
where the chickens are eating bugs.
Exactly.
Because chickens aren't vegetarians, but you'll go in the grocery store and it'll say vegetarian.
Because on Sunday we have bacon once a week, and I save the drippings from that, and use that to cook all week. Lard is very good. It's very pure.
But see,
so it's nice.
The reason the food industry kind of poo-pooed us using lard and made us think that lard was going to make us large was because there's no money. If you cook bacon and then you save your lard, well, you're not going down that food aisle of all those toxic food oils. And that was one of the other toxic foods that we didn't hit on is processed vegetable oils. As you know, we've been saying this for years.
Both the solid ones and the liquid
Whether
ones.
they're solid or liquid, and especially if they're in a clear glass. If you look down that aisle that says Crisco and Wesson and all those things, they're rancid before they even got to the store shelves. If they're rancid in the bottle, they're going to be rancid in you, and they're going to create free radical damage.
And another thing, too, as I was reading about nuts and things like that and why nuts cause so many different problems, the main problem, like if you're eating walnuts go bad very quickly. The oils that hold these structures together in those nuts don't vary, they can't stand temperature changes in the high volumes. So
again,
they go
let's
rancid
think
very
about
quickly. So put them in the refrigerator.
Right, and the walnut is a perfect example. Probably one of the most perfect foods in terms of some of the very unique fat-soluble nutrients, like the complete family of vitamin E. Wouldn't it be best if we bought them, but instead of just around Christmas, or maybe that's when we need them. That's when they show up, the bags of walnuts. If you're cracking the nut, the shell has been protecting that fatty acid profile.
Yeah.
And, so I do question, when we get them. But I store all my nuts. When you buy your nuts, get some containers, keep them in your refrigerator. Better yet, you can keep them in your freezer, Nuts they're not best kept on the shelf.
True enough. So to make it sensible for every meal, I usually start with the protein, which for me is usually the animal protein, and that's about fitting what's in the palm of my hand. That's kind of a portion for me. It works very well. Then if I have any greens, I'll throw twice as much of that on there. And that's pretty much a good balanced meal. A lot of times some of these meats don't have enough fat, so I'll maybe spread some butter over them, maybe use some kind of oil on top of them.
Or maybe a nice raw cheese.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah, and I use cheese for a little snack now and then too. So those are my two main meals. I may have a snack, I may not. I may put together like a little whey shake from grass-fed whey, that type of thing. But that's pretty much how I eat, and that's how I think. And I want to stress protein. We're talking about rebuilding our cells. This is what proteins does. People always talk about how important it is to keep in shape, and we know that exercise and eating good is good for that. But we never think about the individual cell shape.
Yeah, but when we exercise, if we're exercising the way that we want to create a positive effect, we're actually creating damage, little micro tears in the cell. The body needs to have those amino acids, and we talk about proteins, but if you can't digest protein, then that protein actually becomes an inflammatory body in your body.
Right.
So one of the reasons that I kind of build my coaching practice, teaching people about the power of we are not what we eat, we are what we digest. And if we don't digest proteins, they can become an inflammatory issue in itself. So we want to be able to break it down. We want to have good digestive fire.
Yeah. So.
But I like what you always have shared with people, that it's the proteins and the fats that are our critical nutrients. Carbohydrates are an option, but I like to think of carbohydrates the same way that we think of, because when I think of carbohydrates, I don't think of rice and bread and pasta. Those are not even really, foods in the main form. I think of the greens and the colors and the reds and the yellows and the orange. I think of them as the phytochemical source.
These are the healing things.
They're like the spices, as we've talked about. The phytochemicals are what our body uses.
So think of come along with my thinking here, where I'm talking about giving your body medicine. We don't give it on a huge basis. In other words, if you're going to have an antibiotic, let's say, you're going to use it just for a short period of time, and then you're not going to use it anymore. And I kind of feel like that about vegetables and fruits. These are things that help me heal, so I don't need a lot of them. And if I force my body to eat only those things, I start gaining weight. I don't feel as good. My digestive system is going into a panic kind of thing, because it's more used to my traditional way of eating, which is the fat and the protein. I use fat for my fuel. I use the protein to help rebuild. And then I use all those little phytochemicals as a little boost. A little boost. I don't need a big boost.
I'm a little different. I like a little bit more of those phytochemicals, and but that's the neat thing, guys. It's a template, and you have to try what works best for you and what resonates with you. But the key thing is you're way ahead of the game if you start to say what's potentially inflammatory to my body, and I want you to remember what I just shared with you, that potentially anything can be inflammatory if you don't digest it. You can be all
Good
that
point.
you eat. It really doesn't matter what you eat, whether you're a vegan or we see a lot of vegan people who have poor digestive fire because all their hydrochloric acids. They eat salads, and then they get parasites because they don't have good digestive fire.
So these are things that you need to investigate for yourself, of course. The other part of it, too, I think your heritage has a lot to do with finding foods for you that your parents, your grandparents, maybe the last few hundred years ate. Because that gives you kind of a track to run on. What my ancestors ate for hundreds and hundreds of years.
You're Dutch.
I know. I'm Dutch, northern Dutch.
And I'm Scotch-Irish.
So I'm close to Viking type of thing. So we ate a lot of meat. We ate a lot of cheese. We didn't eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Certainly no citrus in Holland over the last 1,000 years. Maybe now, in the last 100 years or so. So those are the things that really work for me. If I was born in Brazil, in the jungle, eating tropical fruits would probably be very, very good for me. And less meat. I might have a lizard or a snake now and then, but I'd probably balance a lot more with those vegetables and natural plants that are grown where I am. In Holland, that's completely different, so I have to look at that.
And we also have to take a look at the season where we are today. Even though our ancestry might be, we now live in Florida, and we want to look at our environment as we adapt to our environment, because the environment does have an impact on our genes, and it may very well be that, the availability of citrus in the winter is a good clue for us because we now live here. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I do see.
Yeah.
Of course, remember that the citrus isn't indigenous to Florida anyway.
I know, but
But it's a good.
But it's growing here now, and it's in our environment.
What about turnips?
Yeah, I kind of wonder though. As we've talked about the fact that humans do not make their own vitamin C. I'm just using vitamin C as an example. Say we've got the citrus. I mean, there's tons of vitamin C in spinach. There's other berries. Watercress is a fantastic. I love the taste of watercress.
Somebody asked about turnips. Of course, turnips are good. Turnips are, daikon root is a turnip. That's one of the great antioxidants. And
in Ayurvedic, turnips are. Right now, turnips are fall. This is these are slightly starchier carbohydrates. Well, why? Because carbohydrates help our body store some fat because we're going to have a cold winter. Yeah. So that's why you got to think about it. How much starches are you eating? How much fat you going to store?
So it's the holidays, and coming into the next segment, we're going to have a little ditty about organic Christmas trees.
A ditty about organic Christmas trees. I used to have a guy bring me one. I have to tell you my Christmas
this is a little different.
Story.
It's kind of a play on things, but it's cute.
All right, stay tuned.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
For our little ditty.
You know what's cool?
taking something that's good for you, something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of The Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Steve Rhodes as he teaches techniques on technical analysis using pattern recognition, celestial charting, Fibonacci, and other tools. The Trader's Edge, next on TFNN.
Welcome to Organic Christmas Trees, where we believe you should raise a tree like you would raise your chicken. Our organic Christmas trees are grass-fed, free-range, non-caged, and grown in small, intimate batches. We take extreme care in raising our trees by offering standard fertilization by either organic cat, dog, or cow fertilizer. And we even offer custom fertilization by any organic animal you bring in, as long as you pre-order your tree. We know it's tough trying to find that perfect holiday tree during this season, but now you can choose from one of our 4 beautiful colors: Sexy Lips Red, Hanukkah Blue, Desert Yellow, or even White Dirty Snow. And if you're looking for that special gift for someone, well, have no fear. We now offer shipping across the nation. Would you buy your chicken from the sketchy bodega on the corner? No? Then why would you buy your tree there? Order your organic Christmas tree today and experience the organic difference.
That was pretty good, wasn't it? So these kids, these are just kids doing this. I'm wondering how they're doing in sales, but I'm sure some people are buying these things. So
very cool.
In the chat room, I have Jay talking about Nico and
Hey,
Paige.
Jay.
Great article on the trees of North America. Also, he said, I sent an excerpt from your article about the coming ice age to Al Gore. You won't believe what he said to me. Hurt my feelings. He said, great article.
Well, thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
And again, that article, and if you subscribe to the newsletter, you can keep up on all that stuff. But, we have, there was a chart. You can Google it on, you can see it. It shows the pharmacist chart, and it was almost all trees and plants of North America early on.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. I mean, and there's tremendous healing in our trees.
Yeah, well,
And that's where a
plants
lot
are
of-
where it's at for sure. To talk about the sun will go into hibernation mode around 2030. This is according to Professor Zakarva of the university in the UK. He says the sun will begin its modern minimum, that's the grand solar minimum, in about 15 years. We're just starting in that cycle, according to him.
So lowered solar activity, folks.
Other scientists have suggested that it happened years ago. Some people are saying it's going to happen in 50 or 100 years, but his model seems to be very, very accurate. This is something that we've known for a long time. Solar cycles have been, there's an 11-year solar cycle, but every once in a while the sun goes into hibernation. Seems to be in cycles of 200 to 400 years. The last one was about 200 years ago. The one before that, 400 years ago, was quite a biggie, where we had things freezing.
So think sun hibernation, mini ice ages.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Kind of. And so they're really predicting that Northern Europe, North America is going to be hit with this. And of course, we don't know the intensity of it. But what happens also, and we've discussed this before, is because the inactivity of the sun throwing out its protective shield to us, our shield gets weaker. So when it does throw something out, we're not protected as much. If you've noticed in the last week or so, if you've had internet problems or your lights go out for a little while, a lot of these brownouts are caused by that shielding not being there.
The instability, in other words, the sun's lack of activity is actually creating a more fragile ionosphere.
Ionosphere for us.
For us.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we get impacts from space, things from distant stars and things like that, we're more vulnerable. And this is going to be probably a 50, 60 year of going down to levels that we haven't seen before. And
here we've got so many people that are posting things that are talking about, support Bernie Sanders for the carbon tax to offset global warming. And I know some of our listeners, are supportive. There's a lot of things that, I like about different. I don't like to get into the politics, but
no. Well, I like the thing about global warming for me is we definitely have to get rid of pollution because we're talking about us inhaling this stuff. So I definitely believe in cleaning up our act. Whether it controls the weather or not, I don't think anybody really knows this.
Right.
And people who say they know, they don't know because we don't know those things.
We don't know everything.
No.
But we know a few things, and we know that if you live a primal lifestyle, you're going to live longer, stronger, healthier, wealthier. Stay tuned for us next week.
Yep.
I think I might be gone. I'm going to be going to a learning opportunity and bring you guys back a bunch of pearls, but Nico will be here holding up.
Thanks for sticking around, folks. See you next week.
See you next time.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.